I'm not gonna lie, I was on the fence when it came to making this video, primarily because I felt like it was really freaking dark. And I want you to understand how much of an influence all of Mike Mafia has on this channel. If a lot of you guys go on Twitter and on Instagram and start tagging me in news, I'm gonna say, okay, my community wants me to make a video on this, even though if I'm a little bit on the fence in regards to making the video. Now, before we get to the content, I want you guys to know this video is going to be demonetized, which I do have a sponsor coming up, which the money situation gets taken care of, which I don't really care about, to be honest, but I really care that this video might not get pushed out to a larger audience because the nature of the content's fairly dark. Now, in the past, we've been very successful at counteracting that. All you have to do is leave a like. One like really helps us get over the fact that YouTube won't make money off of this video, so they won't recommend it to a larger audience. And in addition to that, we're giving away a subscriber that turns on our notifications $500 and an Instagram follower who follows us on Flight Mike $500 as well. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Valentine's Day is right around the corner, guys, and what better gift to get that special someone than a pair of brand new kitchen knives? Now, you don't want to get any type of kitchen knives that these junky Amazon retailers are selling you, which is why I am partnering with Kamikoto Japanese Steel Kitchen Knives. Kamikoto makes great Japanese steel kitchen knives using traditional techniques from Japan. Each knife comes in a beautiful, heavy-duty ash wooden box that makes sure the knife is stored safely. I don't know about you, but I'm an idiot and I tend to mess up my nice things. But Kamikoto makes sure that doesn't happen to you. They have a variety of knives that are used by Michelin star chefs, such as the 3-piece Kanpeki knife set that comes with the Nakiri vegetable knife, the slicing knife, and the utility knife. And here's what's the most important to me. Each knife is individually inspected. Kamikoto is so confident about their knives that each knife comes with a lifetime guarantee. Honestly, I love the presentation of these knives. I think they're absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait until my friends get to try them out when I have steak night with the boys, and the knives feel nice and balanced and comfortable in my hand. And right now, Kamikoto's having a huge Valentine's Day sale when they give you $50 off of any purchase you make on their website when you use my promo code Mikerophone. That's promo code Mikerophone at kamikoto.com, or you can just go to kamikoto.com/microphone. And thank you, Kamikoto, for the sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The most tragic part of this entire story, guys, is this started out as one of those come from behind stories. You know, in the NFL, there's multiple tiers of stars. There's the Aaron Rodgers, the Aaron Donalds, the Derrick Henrys, the DeAndre Hopkins, the Kyler Murrays, and these are all players that were expected to dominate, except I guess you could say Aaron Rodgers when he was drafted. And then there are players that completely shock us, like the Tom Bradys, the Richard Shermans, the Travis Kelce's, etc., etc. Then there's a completely different tier of players that never become stars, players that are trying to itch and crawl their way to a chance to even make a roster, because if they do so, then they could really set themselves up for the next duration of their career. And oftentimes, if you watch HBO's Hard Knocks, these players are typically highlighted, and we get a dose of reality. These great come from behind stories, these players that work their off and train their ass off and they're the hardest workers, typically don't get signed by the franchise that Hard Knocks is covering. And the thing that really just saddens me about this story is that it involves a player that very much so had a similar story to this, and his name is DeShazer Everett. Now, DeShazer's been on the Washington football team, well, now the Washington Commanders, since they were called the Washington Redskins. He was there since the Jay Gruden era, and originally he signed with the Washington Redskins on August 1st, 2015. He was waived later on in September and joined the team's practice squad. But later on in October of 2015, he was promoted to the active roster and he made the most of his opportunity. I mean, in 2015, you could see, didn't really play much, 3 solo tackles, and that's about it. In 2016, 4 solo tackles, 1 interception, probably the best grade that he's got for his entire career. But it's not like he played that many snaps in total. If you could see over here, didn't play so many snaps in 2016, and the most snaps he's ever played was in 2017. Now, bear in mind that DeShazer, as a result of being signed to the Washington football team, well, back then the Washington Redskins full-time roster, he was able to get himself a 3-year, $1.5 million contract, which I know when you're talking in the scheme of things, when you compare it to other NFL contracts, it's like, who cares? But $1.5 million, man, is a ton of money for a player that wasn't even expected to make it to a roster. So after 2017, he was clearly a big part of their defense. In 2018, played a little bit less snaps, but for the most part, he carved out a role for himself as a run-stopping safety. As a result, the Washington football team, after 2018, decided to sign DeShazer Everett to a 2-year, $2.6 million contract, which included a $250,000 signing bonus. Now, again, in the grand scheme of things, when you compare this to Aaron Rodgers' contract or Patrick Mahomes' contract, this is nothing. I don't think Patrick Mahomes would dare break his back bending over for $1 million. Okay, I'm sure he will, but you get what I'm saying. But for any normal human being, this is a significant amount of money, and Everett was able to play for the Washington football team for 6 seasons. Through it all, his entire career for a 29-year-old is very impressive. I mean, to this point, his entire career earnings equal $10 million, which for a 29-year-old, if you parlay that into smart investments, you could set yourself up for life. Trust me, I'm a very big personal finance guy. I'm very fascinated by that type of stuff. And for the most part, DeShazer Everett was a very happy story until February 8th, 2022. Yesterday, DeShazer Everett was charged with manslaughter in a fatal car crash. The story gets even more tragic when you find out who he killed. According to this report, Washington Commander Safety DeShazer Everett has been charged with involuntary manslaughter for a December car crash in Virginia that killed his girlfriend Olivia Peters. The Loudoun County Sheriff's Office announced the charge in a statement on Tuesday, alleging that Everett was driving more than twice the posted speed limit before the single car crash. The driver involved in December 23rd, 2021 fatal crash that took the life of a Las Vegas woman has been charged with involuntary manslaughter after an investigation determined he was traveling over twice the posted 45-mile-per-hour speed limit just prior to the crash. Everett turned himself into the Loudoun County Adult Detention Center on Tuesday. His attorney announced in a statement that Everett has been released on a $10,000 bond. Our team continues to investigate this matter as we intend on vigorously defending Mr. Everett against these allegations. The statement reads, "We continue to ask that judgment be reserved until all facts are fully investigated and litigated in the proper form." According to the incident report, the crash occurred around 9:15 p.m. on December 23rd in Loudoun County, which sits just outside Washington, D.C. Per the report, the 2010 Nissan GTR left the right side of the roadway, struck several trees, and rolled over. Peters, who was riding as a passenger, was taken from the scene to a hospital where she died. Everett was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries and released 4 days later. Everett has played the entirety of his 7-season NFL career in Washington, made 2 interceptions and 170 tackles as a backup safety and special teams player. He's been a special teams captain since 2018. This is really sad. I mean, since we don't know that many details apart from what happened, I cannot imagine the amount of pain this guy is going through. I cannot even imagine the amount of pain that Olivia Peters' family is going through. And I guess I'm a little bit more empathetic because I've received a speeding ticket before. You know, I was young, I was dumb, I was stupid. I think I was 22 at the time when it happened. And it's really tragic when one mistake, I was lucky. I got a speeding ticket, I just got pulled over and the cop sent me on my merry way. I had to pay a ton of money, but that's about it. But in DeShazer Everett's case, he's not nearly as lucky. He lost his girlfriend, man. His girlfriend's dead. And for all you know, you don't know what's gonna happen to his career with the Washington football team at this point. I mean, yeah, he is the captain of the special teams, but he's not necessarily one of the most important players on that roster. So are the Washington Commanders just going to discard him, or what are they going to do with him? It really just saddens me because I'm very empathetic towards people making mistakes, but it's really a shame when you can't really learn from your mistake and it completely changes and alters your life. And in DeShazer Everett's case, he lost someone that he really loved. So let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about this man. again. And if we ever get an update on the story, I'll make sure to bring it to you guys. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.